Hello and good afternoon. Was that fun? 1992, speech recognition. Casper on Good Morning America. As you know, Casper was also a Paramount cartoon. So after we went back to Apple, Paramount called and said, you can't use that name anymore. And Casper's descendant became what you now use today as Siri. And that was the history of my involvement with artificial intelligence. Almost 40 years I have worked in this technology as a researcher, technologist, products, and executive, and now investor in this space. And it is really exhilarating to see artificial intelligence is no longer a demo on national TV, but a product that we use every day. So let me now show you some demonstrations of real AI products that we use today. Real AI products that we use today. Sinovation Ventures is an investor in a number of in 40 AI companies. These include things like financial services, that is the use of AI to make loans. And these AI make loans at 1/5 the default rate of a human at 0.1 second. So human loan officers are not going to be needed in the future. Banks will have more profit, and people can borrow money anytime, anywhere. We're using this in manufacturing and warehouses so that boxes can be moved. Your e-commerce, the shipping charges will come significantly lower over time. It will be in stores and services. Computer vision will be able to see your face, your movements, and also figure out what products you put in your basket so that it can charge you automatically when you exit the store. Not only is there no longer a cashier, there will no longer be a line to leave the store. AI will deliver transport. Autonomous trucks will hit the streets in about 3 years. There was a bet between me and Jan LeCun and Eric Bernofson from MIT when autonomous trucks will happen. Who bet what doesn't matter. The bet is around 3 to 5 years. And we bet that this will happen probably faster in China because the Chinese infrastructure is being built on highways to help trucks avoid accidents. So trucks and highways within 5 years, autonomous driving in L4 capacity in about 10 years, and then in L5 capacity in 20 to 30 years. By that time, not only will none of us drive, we'll be forbidden from driving because autonomous vehicles will be so good that the biggest danger to ourselves will be ourselves. That we are such poor drivers, we will no longer be allowed to drive. Just like today, you can't ride a horse onto a highway. So that's the future of autonomous vehicle. And then in education and healthcare, AI is being used to invent new drugs, to do better diagnosis than doctors. In education, virtual teachers brings down the cost of education to zero. We're using AI to grade exams, grade homeworks, to do roll call in classes. And this is not just fantasy or research. This is being deployed in the majority of Chinese schools today. So we, as an investor in AI, have made 45 investments, including 5 unicorns valued at about $23 billion. This is real. And how does this all work? The technology behind the scenes is what's called deep learning. Deep learning does not think like our brain. It is a big black box, you feed a lot of data to it, and it learns to distinguish good loans from bad loans. It learns to distinguish what words you said. It learns to distinguish whether you just put Coca-Cola or Pepsi-Cola into your basket. And with lots of data, it learns automatically without human supervision because there's a feedback loop that tells it, did the person repay the loan or not, which teaches the system to do a better job each time. So AI works better with more data. So to give you an example, what if we took a lot of data from President Trump's speech? Can we perhaps generate a speaking President Trump? Do we have voice? Sound? I guess we don't have sound turned on, or do we? Can we try it again?
It's a great thing to build a better world with artificial intelligence. 人工智能正在改变世界。
So you only thought his granddaughter spoke Chinese, but we're able to synthesize it based on his voice patterns, not only in English, but also in Chinese. So we're seeing more and more headlines, AI beating Go grandmaster, doing better than people in reading tests, speech recognition, image recognition, beating people in games, doing better than doctors in diagnosis of all kinds of cancers, and all these headlines are coming one after the other. And what this really means is AI is becoming the new electricity. It is a platform technology, deep learning, that is getting easier and easier to use. And more engineers are able to build better products that will take a lot of data and do jobs better than human, saving time and money, creating value for our society. Pricewaterhouse estimates that AI will be worth $16 trillion in the next 11 years to the global incremental GDP. And this will come about by making internet fully AI-enabled, which it already is. It's already made Google, Facebook, Amazon, Tencent, Alibaba into near trillion-dollar companies. And next, AI will move into businesses. Banks, insurance, education, public services, logistics, back office will be AI-infused. Next, in the wave 3, AI will be able to see and hear, creating new interfaces, new smart homes, smart cities, and improved retail to have autonomous stores. Finally, AI will be able to move around and manipulate, thereby creating robots that can touch, move, and also drive. Autonomous vehicles will come about. And the biggest thing facing us today, the one thing that I'd like people to remember is that AI is no longer a rocket science. It is going into mainstream, making it possible for more and more companies, including non-AI companies, non-tech companies, traditional companies, to be infused with AI, creating a tremendous value. Because the difficulty of programming AI has come down from, it takes 20 years of experience, a PhD, now just 5 weeks. We at Sinovation Ventures train 750 people with no prior AI experience to be AI engineers. They can't do world-class research, but they can make AI work for you in your companies, creating improved efficiencies. As an example, business process outsourcing, something that costs all of us a lot of time. The processes you have in human resources, accounting, legal, accounts receivable, expense reports, reference checking. All this is people copy and paste and drag and email and scan paperwork. All this can be learned by a software called robotic process automation. And that process will watch the workers using computer vision and be able to do 20–30% of what people can do, thereby producing 91.2% of the costs in outsourcing to other countries. So that will dramatically reduce the cost, increase the margin, consolidate the markets, and create tremendous value for those who invest in this business. And of course, business process outsourcing is only the lowest hanging fruit. I told you about all the other industries, which add up to 90% plus of our entire economies. So it will create tremendous value, and it can be used for good, for healthcare, for education. At the same time, when we read the newspapers, when we read the headlines, we see a lot of challenges created by AI and associated technologies. Here's a bunch of challenges. I'll spend 2 minutes on each challenge in privacy, security, job displacement, and wealth inequality. What I hope to show you is AI is coming, AI is big, AI is good, AI has challenges. We're cognizant of that, and we can deal with it. So what about privacy? Many people think of privacy as a binary, yes, no, give all the data back to me. But that is not the case. Because first of all, privacy really is a continuum. You as a user can get more privacy, less convenience, or less privacy and more convenience. I totally agree with transparency and user choice, but that needs to be made available to people so that they can choose. Today, when you go to a GDPR-compliant website, pop-up windows come up, and we really don't know what to do. What really should happen is we should fight technology with technology. When computer viruses were invading our PCs, we did not shut down all downloads, nor did we ask each user to program his or her own registry. We let technology come up with antivirus software that eventually fought back and kept virus at bay, making our computers safe. So why can't we have technology that helps us decide to whom, to what website, to what functions is it reasonable to license or give part of our private software to in order to get the conveniences delivered. That could be a slider that gives us more convenience or less, and if you really don't like it, you can go all the way back and say no privacy, just like HTTPS. This technology is doable. I don't think we have to resort to excessive regulation and deny the convenience to people. Also, issues such as can we have our cake and eat it too? There are technologies like homomorphic encryption that says, can we let you keep your data, but use a morphed version of it, encrypted version of it, that cannot be reversed, but use it in AI training. So give you the conveniences without any danger of losing your data. That technology doesn't work yet, but neither did antivirus software in the early days of virus infections. There are technologies like federated learning that allows each hospital to train on the records of its patients to which it has license, but not share the data with other hospitals, but have the AI models converge at the top to create a massive, powerful AI doctor that is trained on all the patient's data without compromising any patient's privacy. That technology is also not ready, but it can be ready. So I would urge you to think regulating AI is interesting and useful, but purely regulating it from policy cannot be the right thing for the user or for countries. Probably a bigger issue is AI safety. Today, to fool a system, if you put some stickers on the car, it may not recognize your car. Autonomous vehicle may miss the car. Face recognition may misrecognize the face. We saw AI deepfake, pretending to speak like President Trump. In this picture, you see it pretending to look like President Obama. So these are issues. So I can tell you, I can guarantee your naked eye will not be able to tell fake from real. So what do? Do we regulate everyone from not being allowed to use AI? That's infeasible because the technology is already open source. So again, the only way to fight technology misuse was with better technology. Your eyes cannot tell deepfake, but AI can. The next topic I want to spend a little more time on is job displacement. You've probably heard people tell you, AI will take away all the jobs, or some other people tell you, AI won't take any jobs, it's purely a tool, symbiotic. Are they right or wrong? They're both half right. Because when we think about AI can and cannot do, first we have to recognize AI is just a tool. It is not here, has no desire to take our jobs away. Secondly, that AI is going to displace routine jobs. All the examples I gave you, examples related to business process outsourcing, doing HR forms, doing entry-level accounting, etc., these are all routine jobs. These are the jobs that will be in danger because AI will be trained on more data and can do much better than you. Because how many of us can remember 200,000 faces? But AI can. So on the one scale, for purely routine jobs, AI will displace jobs. There's no doubt about that. But there are many things AI cannot do. I can't list all of them here. So I will tell you there are two big things AI cannot do. One is creativity. AI can only be given a goal and it will optimize to reach that goal, optimize that goal. AI cannot create something new. It cannot create a new Picasso. It cannot create a new style of Picasso's. It cannot create a new style of music. It cannot create a new drug. It cannot create this presentation. So our creativity is very much treasured. So we need to think more about creative jobs. So let's put that on our x-axis. Another aspect is AI has no heart, no compassion, no love, no ability to win trust or to connect people together. Even if some AI fakes it to 70, 80%, people just don't want it. So anything that has to do with social interaction, human trust, respect, connection, compassion, empathy, AI simply cannot do that, nor will it be able to do in 20 years. So then we can draw a blueprint for the next 20 years. If we put creative jobs on the x-axis, compassion on the y-axis, we will see that the lower left jobs are the routine jobs without creativity or compassion. Those jobs will be gone. And we need to figure out how to retrain the people who are displaced. If we think about the jobs that are high creativity but lower compassion, such as those on the lower right, well, that's wonderful because AI as a tool will help the scientists invent even more cures for cancer, more drugs. So scientists will amplify their creativity with the help of AI. That is an example of symbiosis. What about jobs that are maybe not so creative but incredibly compassionate? Jobs like nurses, teachers, doctors. Well, there will be a different form of symbiosis where AI provides the analytical tool for a doctor. That would be diagnosis, proposal of prescription and treatment, where the doctor will judge whether that is reasonable, present to the patient in a way that is acceptable, encourage the patient, and also tease out any medical conditions and family history from the patient so that the doctor and the AI together will cure many, many more people. Similarly, teachers will use AI to grade homework, to grade tests, to give lectures, to practice English accent, to do math drills. But the teacher will be the mentor to whom the child looks up to and figures out the future of his or her life. So another great example of symbiosis with AI providing the analytical thinking and human providing the warmth. And of course, on the upper right is high compassion, high creativity jobs, really suitable for humans. So there you have it, a blueprint that is neither a dystopia nor a utopia. So I think the challenge we need to deal with is the job displacement on the lower left, the routine jobs that have no creativity or compassion. But there are a lot of things that can be done. I think our vocational schools should be redesigned so that jobs that will go away, such as telemarketing, customer service, dishwashers, will need to be retrained. There should be less of those courses. There should be more courses training on compassionate jobs, nurses, or complex jobs such as plumbers, or jobs that have some degree of creativity. If you think about it, plumber is kind of like a detective, figuring out where the leak is. That is something AI cannot do. So rethink vocational training, but also rethink education, because our current training, current education is still stuck in the 20th century, where it's one-to-many lecturing, not enough practice on creativity or compassion. We need education to help inject more curiosity, critical thinking, and creativity into the kids. At the same time, help with emotional quotient, communication, persuasion, and value of relationships and teamwork. That's equally important. And the whole way of education will need to be different given that basis. Because when think about this, if kids are trained to have high scores on standardized tests, today AI already beat most 99% of the kids. So how is that the right test? We got to focus on creativity and compassion. And I think corporations and governments should think about corporate retraining. For people losing their jobs, how can they have a new beginning? Just giving universal basic income is unacceptable because people given money may just become lazy or maybe depressed. Or they'll be addicted to alcohol or drugs or games. But instead, we need to give people a direction. Your job, that job was lost, that category is gone. This new job will be here in 20, 30 years. So get the training, subsidized training. If governments don't do it, corporations will do it. Amazon has offered its employees basically fully subsidized training for 4 years, as long as it's in a job that is sustainable and won't go away. Even if that job is outside of Amazon, I think that is really, really respectable because Amazon is thinking about its employees not only as a tool to make Amazon stock work better, but Amazon's responsibility extended beyond that of shareholders into that of its employees. And also, we really need to focus on human-human connection, human-human jobs, including service jobs, increasing the pay, increasing the social status. Only then can we have a very peaceful transition from the routine jobs to compassionate jobs. And I think there is a lot of AI that is for good. I think we have to believe, based on what I talked about in healthcare and education, that our human motivations must tilt us on the scale towards the use for the greater good. That all technologies in the past have done much more good than bad. So please don't let the current mentality of anti-AI, technology pervade into society. Technology need to be regulated, but also technology over time is more for good than bad because people are more good than bad. And finally, the use of technology misuse must be fought back by technology, not just with policies. So I think with that degree of optimism, we can promote entrepreneurialism, build infrastructure, enable trustworthy data collection, and most importantly, train a lot of AI engineers because it's no longer a rocket science. And that will allow AI to truly blossom and create tremendous value for our society. Ladies and gentlemen, AI is here. AI will change the world. Let us be ready for that change and embrace AI. Thank you very much.